my journey in being an ACE certified personal trainer, how I came to get certified. I've always been interested in fitness and exercising and so forth. So I decided, hey, why not get certified, You do something you like and you can make it a living. So I went with ACE, American Council on Exercise, to become a personal trainer, certified personal trainer. There's a lot of other organizations you can go with, NASM and so forth. I'm not going to talk about why I chose ACE over something else. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about which one to choose that best suits your needs. But I went with ACE. So in November 2019, I purchased, ACE had a sale. So for $600, I got the PT Plus study program. Came with a lot of stuff. It came with the essentials of exercise science, hard and soft copies. Then of course the personal trainer manual, 5th edition. You can see that, 5th edition. And the study companion goes with the personal trainer manual. And I also got access to the Elite Academy, which is a study blueprint, tells you how to study. I got also 2 practice exams. I got I think a 2-hour review video that came with the Academy. The voucher, of course, for the exam. So after you purchase the exam, from your purchase date, you have 6 months to register for your exam. So my registration date was, I had to register by May 2020. In January 2020, I started my exam. I started to study for my examination. So I went to the academy, the Elite Academy, to see the blueprint on how I would go about studying. So they advised me to start with the Essentials of Exercise Science, this book. So I read the first few pages, and then I was very, very overwhelmed because a lot of terminologies, a lot of very scientific, very whatever, I said to myself, man, what I get myself into, I'm not gonna be able to pass this exam, Did more research online and found out that, hey, this book is not as important. You might get a few questions from it on your exam, but they're not going to be highly marked. The only thing you would focus on from this book would be chapter 4, the nutrition chapter about nutrition. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, threw this book to the side. Didn't really give it much attention. Then I started reading the book, the manual, personal trainer manual. Like I said, the academy gives you a blueprint on how to study, but it's not necessarily in order from chapter 1 to 18. They'll tell you to read chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, then skip to 7, go back to 5, and so forth. So when I read it the first time the book, I didn't do that, the manual. I read through chapter 1 all the way through 18, and I skipped chapter 12 and 13 because those aren't important for the exam. So I read the book from cover to cover, except for chapter 12 and 13. And again, I was overwhelmed again because a lot of new terminologies, a lot of things I didn't know, deviations and which muscles are linked and which muscles are shortened, and so forth. So again, very overwhelmed and like, oh, what I get myself into. So I knew that reading the book one time was not enough. So I would read the chapter, I read the first chapter, and I would go to the study companion, and I would answer I read the summary that they would have in the study companion. They have a summary of each chapter, and then I'll have a few questions from each chapter as well, and they have the answers. So I would go back, read the summary review, and I would answer the questions and check the answers, to give you an understanding of to let you know how well you understood the chapter you just read. But the thing is, these questions are not necessarily comparable, or they're not similar to the questions that you're gonna get on your actual examination. Anyways, after I completed the first time, read the whole book, my registration date was for May 2020, but when the whole pandemic happened and a lot of examination sites closed down, ACE gave an extra 3 months to register for your exam, extra 3 months to register for your exam. So that for me was, godsend, because I needed more time. I could register for my exam in May for January or for November, whenever I wanted, but I didn't want to take that long. So for me, the extra 3 months they gave was very helpful. So I took advantage of that time. The personal trainer manual again, and I read it again. This time I read it in accordance with the blueprint that the ACE Academy Elite gives you. So I read chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip to chapter 7. Whatever they tell me, I would do it. Concerning the personal trainer manual, and I would also go back and answer the questions from the study companion. Also went and I highlighted points that I thought were important, or things that I didn't understand that I needed to focus on throughout the book. So I'd go to YouTube and search them. So I came through a few channels. Of course, then some of them I knew from before registering for my exam, or before purchasing the program. So PT Pioneer, Fitness Mentors. These are a few channels and a few websites that I checked out. There's also a channel called by a guy called Sperry. I think that's his name. He has a few videos, not too many videos. He has a few videos that were helpful. Another guy called Pro Ant. He also has a few videos. He talks about what came on his exam, what to focus on. He also has a few videos, not too much detail. I'll leave links to their channel in the description. But the most, hands down, the best channel that I came across to help me prepare for my exam was a channel by Rebel with a Dream, or Rebel with a Dream. So he goes through every single chapter, explaining every single chapter to you. So I'll leave. That's hands down the best channel I had. The best resource for me, for my revision, was his channel. He shows you his notes. You take a screenshot of his notes, or you can purchase them in PDF from him. So I would read the chapter, answer the questions, highlight, go back to his videos, watch each chapter from start to end. I finished the whole book and listened to the chapter explanations. And I registered for my first aid course. In the whole pandemic, ACE, said you can get a first aid course online. You don't have to do it in person. So that's what I did. And I registered for my exam. We're about July. So I registered for my exam for August. After I registered for my exam, I took the practice test. Like I said, in my program, the Plus Study program, I got access to two study exams, 2 study tests that were in the ACE Academy. So I took the first test and I didn't pass by, I think it was like 2 or 3 marks, 2 or 3 points, short of passing. So they emailed me telling me, hey, it's okay, because most people they don't pass their first attempt on the practice test. So I took the second practice test, was a different question, but I passed it. I knew I was ready for the test, but I just need to brush up on some of the concepts and some of the material. Okay, so after taking my exam, the practice exam, I went back to study the book again. I also printed out the important, these are health formulas. How to calculate 1 rep max, BMI, hip to waist ratio, heart rate, stuff like that. How many calories are in fat and protein and carbs and so forth. So I printed this out and studied it and practiced the equations on it. I also made flashcards, some of the definitions, some of the concepts that I didn't know, I didn't understand well, also for the formulas. It's the first time, like I said, I didn't really understand a lot of it, or most of it. The second time I had a much better understanding. Just a few concepts were not clear to me. This is the crunch now, because we got a month left, so I printed out this study guide. And I would read the study guide, and I would highlight any important parts of the study guide that I thought were important. I would also, anything that I highlighted in the book, I would go back and read whatever I highlighted after reviewing each chapter. I would read whatever I highlighted in the book, and I would add it to the study guide if it wasn't already available. And I would also watch the videos, the explanations that Rebel would put on his channel, and I would add to my study guide. I also added some some notes from here, chapter 4, like I said, the nutrition chapter. I added some of the notes on here because I did get a few questions on my practice test, as well as when I went to exam. I did get a few questions from this book, maybe about 4 or 5 questions, other than the nutrition questions from this book that I was very caught off guard. But like I said, they're not highly marked, and that's how I prepared for my exam. I was overwhelmed. I thought I'm not gonna pass, and it took a lot and put me under a lot of stress. I got certified in August, so it's been a few months. So this is what I remember that came on my exam, and what might come on your exam. So of course, chapter 7 is important. I don't recall getting so many questions from chapter 7, that like I expected. But focus on chapter 7, chapter 4 of the Essentials of Exercise Science, the nutrition chapter. They got a few questions from that chapter. Chapter 3, the report investigation, planning, action stages, learning strategies. Chapter 4, that was chapter 4, stages of change. Chapter 5, the IFT, cardio training, the cardio training, 1, 2, 3, focus on that. Chapter 6, interview techniques and the reasonable attributes, risk identification, I got question on that. Bladder, fermentation, I got question on that. Heart rate, normal and average for male, for female, and so forth. I did a question on that for my exam. I think all of it, the static postures, deviations, movement screenings. Pelvic tilt was the most important thing. I got another question on that. The pelvic tilts, for deviations. Also, I got a question about forward head, and so yeah, just type all of it. Chapter 8, body fat, locations for males and females, BMI, waist to hip ratio, VT1, VT2, the talk test, the 1 calculation, the mental test, and the ratios, and comparing the ratios of each exam to the other. I did a question on that on my test. I want to mention things I recall that I actually got questions on. Also, chapter 9, joint stability, mobility, posture, stability, posture, mobility, type stretching, I did a question on that. Also, how to do online stretching. I watched the morning of my exam, and so you can watch the questions from stretching. ADL movement training, hinge, rotations, pulling, pushing, so forth. Chapter 10, periodization models for resistance training, meso, micro, so forth. Chapter 12 and 13, like it's not, I don't recall anything that specific that on my exam. Chapter 12 and 13, do not in the exam. Chapter 14, hypertension, dyslipidemia, dyslipidemia. Chapter 14, ACL, MCL injuries, upper extremity injuries, record keeping HIPAA, yellow marking 15. Also the rights method for injuries. Chapter 16, I'm also the Chapter 16, fluid intake, during exercise, hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, those things that I got questions on, so you want to look into those two. Diabetes, heart stroke. Chapter 17, insurance, liabilities, waivers, no contracts, risk evaluation. These are things that I recall that came on my exam. And I'll show you my score. So the exam is out of 800. The lowest you can get is 200. Passing is 500. I got 610 was my score. And it tells you the domains, each domain, how well you did on each domain. So 610 was my score. Let me know down below what your score was. A lot of people on YouTube, they don't share their scores. I've only seen a few that actually share their score. That's it for this video. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. If you have any questions and I can answer them, I'll be happy to help. And I'll see you in the next video.